Mayor Soyseth, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Perfect. So we'll start with inviting up Debbie Whitmore. If you can, please join me at the podium. Alrighty, Debbie Whitmore is the recipient of our Employee of the Month, and so it's my great honor to be able to read a little bit about her and present her with the certificate and pin. So Debbie Whitmore was named Employee of the Month for November 2017. Debbie was awarded Employee of the Month for her can-do attitude. She is always positive and upbeat and goes out of her way to encourage others to do their best. As a manager, she challenges all of her employees to learn and grow and gives everyone opportunities to do so. She's always looking for ways to develop her employees and gives the help and support needed to ensure their success. As a manager, Debbie leads by example. She continually takes on new work and is relied on by all departments throughout the city for her knowledge and willingness to help. Debbie is respected by her fellow employees and by the members of the community. She has a passion for planning and is always looking for ways to better the community and to improve city processes. Debbie tracks legislation to ensure the city is in compliance with new or changed regulations, and she makes other departments aware of items she sees that may impact them. Debbie goes above and beyond her duties every day, and she has played a large role in the advancements and achievements of the city during her tenure with the city. Debbie has supervised the planning division and served as Deputy Director for Development Services for 11 years. She has enjoyed every day of her tenure because of the special people she works with, the long-term vision of the city's policymakers, and the strong sense of community shared by residents and business owners in Turlock. She hopes that she has made a positive impact on the city of Turlock by delivering good customer service, preparing long-range planning documents designed to implement the community's goals, and permitting projects that provide greater housing and job opportunities to the city's residents. Debbie, unfortunately, will be retiring to spend more time with her husband and other assorted furry friends. She plans on spending a great deal of time on the road visiting all of the wonderful places America has to offer. And I've had the great privilege of being able to work with you, Debbie, on multiple occasions over the past 3 years, and very sad to see you go, but hope that you enjoy your retirement. And so I'm extraordinarily pleased that you are awarded the Employee of the Month. So congratulations.
I just wanted to express my appreciation to the council and to the members of the committee who make this selection, but I especially want to recognize my amazing staff who nominated me for this, and they didn't even really, have anything to benefit from it because I'm retiring on Friday, so it must be very sincere, and I do appreciate that, and I sincerely take this with a great deal of humbleness, because I really think that every employee in this city, performs well and above and beyond every day. And to receive this, I think, is a very special honor. So thank you very much.
Okay, so I'd like to move on to 2B, and I'll invite Animal Services Supervisor Glenna Jackson to the podium for the Pen of the Month presentation. Glenna, it's all yours.
Thank you. Hi, council members. Mayor, I hear you. You don't get to see the picture today.
I'm bummed.
I'm sorry. I'll email it to you. I'd like to present to you our previous Pet of the Month, which is Jake. We had a little struggle with Jake. Nobody seemed to like his spirit, so basically we sent him up to Grass Valley, and a family adopted him there, so we don't have a picture of him, but he is having a great time running the acreage that he has there available to him. The Pet of the Month is for December. You're missing out. It's 11-34. This is Kobe. He's a 4-year-old Jack Russell Terrier mix. His picture is so darling, and so is he. He is actually going to be ready to go home the same day of adoption, because we already have him ready to go home. So all of his adoption fees are going to be waived because they're supported by our TMAPs, which is his neuter, microchip, rabies shot, his first-year license if you're a City of Turlock resident. And then, as an added bonus, every animal in the month of December is going to be a free adoption, thanks to a generous donation of the Turlock Polka Room. They are going to be sponsoring all of the dog and cat adoptions during that month, which will include all the services that is listed for our normal adoptions, And then they also partnered with Monte Vista Small Animal Hospital that's going to be giving a $25 gift card and a free health checkup with included in that awesome program that we're going to be offering. So follow us on Facebook to see all the great animals that we get there throughout the month, and it will be for the whole entire month of December. Again, I just want to let you know that we do have those crazy hours because of the holidays. The shelter will be closed on the 23rd, 25th, and 26th, and then on the 1st in observance of our Christmas and New Year holiday. But you can always contact us, and we're there for all your animal control needs. Again, the shelter is located at 801 South Walnut. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 2, and you can always call us or get a hold of us on our Facebook or our webpage. Thank you guys very much. Any question?
Any questions?
No?
Thank
Okay.
you, Glenna.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
Okay, item 3A, there are no special briefings. I will now open up public participation. If there's any member of the public that would like to address the council on any item not on the agenda, and I do have a blue card. If you would like to speak, if you can please fill out a blue card, but I'll start with Manuel Lopez, if you'd like to come up.
Good evening. Thank you for your guys' time. I'm just calling, I'm here for the concern that I have with, I'm a member that lives in District 2, and there's been a lot of accidents lately on Lander Avenue. Actually, on Saturday, I saw it when it happened, and I saw there's no, the response time was very, very slow. And I also, it comes back, I'm also going to school right now, working on my MPA there, and we're talking about just the city, there's lack of response time on Lander Avenue, and there's also, just in city in general, we don't have enough lighting. And I think Lander Avenue would benefit greatly if we have crosswalks out there, especially between the areas of, the crosswalks between Burnell and Lander and 9th Street. There's a lot of homeless people are walking by. There's no lights out there. It seems that the road is also very, it's very car dominant. So there's no middle borders or anything, dividers for people to walk by. And I think if we enforce lighting out there, enforce speed limits, that could be a suggestion that the city could take. And also, I think there was in the last 14 days, there's been for sure there was a person that got killed on the 14th. I'm not sure what happened with the person on Saturday. And just something concerning that for the city, if we wanted to take care of that. I'm not sure if we could if I could talk to somebody in District 2, bringing concerns of that with the community. And also, I noticed that there's when I went back over there, I was speaking with, it's a huge Hispanic population out there. If you don't have a voice to be out there spoken with, so that's something that I want to pursue. If we could talk to somebody and engaging people in the community with that, and I think that was something that would help out with the community just in general, and just concerns if there's something we could do with this Lander and bring that into perspective. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Manuel, I know that we had some of our exec staff taking notes, and we have your contact information, so I'm sure somebody will be reaching out to you. Thank you. Is there anything else for public participation? Sure. Mr. Bates? If you can, please state your name and address for the record.
Brad Bates, resident, Turlock. I'm a little slow at times, but I eventually sort things out. I had some questions that I wanted to direct specifically to the city attorney. So I think the appropriate thing would be, I'd like to ask if I could get your direct contact information. I know we've had different attorneys representing the firm, so if you do have someone who is a lead, or if you have specialties so that I could direct the question to the appropriate person, that would be great. So that's my request. I'd like to have the contact information for the acting city attorney, and that would be good. Okay. I've got these cards that I made up when I thought I was going to be retired, and now I got to get rid of them. So. Thanks.
Okay. If there's anybody else for public participation? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. Moving on to item 4A. I'll entertain a motion waiving reading of all ordinances on the agenda except by title.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember DeHart, second by Councilmember Esquer. Clerk, please call the roll.
Waiving reading of all ordinances on the agenda except by title. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember DeHart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soyset.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to declaration of conflict of interest and disqualifications. Seeing none. Moving on to the disclosure of top 10 maximum contributors. Those can be found included in the agenda packet. We'll move on to consent. Tonight, staff has requested that we remove 5N, and I have a request from Councilmember Esquer to pull 5M. But beyond those two, I'll entertain a motion adopting the amended consent calendar, less 5N and 5M.
Advance amended consent.
Okay, motion by Councilmember DeHart and second by Councilmember Bublak. Clerk, please call the roll.
Adopting the amended consent calendar. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember DeHart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes,
Mayor Soyset.
Yes.
okay. And we will take 5M, which is appropriating $5,000 to account number 217-50-510.43200 repair program sidewalk for Fund 217 gas tax. Councilmember Esquer, if you wanted to. let us
Yes,
know.
I spoke to Allison earlier today, and as I was reading this, I thought it was a good idea to bring it up and have it explained so the public can be more aware. I'm not sure everyone out there knows of the program, and we're about to make it even a little bit juicier, so I think it's something we need to share with the people that are watching or in the attendance.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council. The item before you is another effort to partner with our community in regard to how we approach the maintenance of our sidewalk system. And so, as you know, back in May, staff brought an item regarding our encroachment fee backfill program. That's where council has set aside $20,000 for the purpose of reimbursing property owners for the cost of their permits up to $160.50 per $1,000 worth of work. We are also looking at opportunities to address situations that are a bit more challenging, where you have low-income families who may not have the immediate resources to deal with this type of property maintenance. And so another effort that we are asking council to put into place, which it's really not new, but what we are asking is a different source of funding for the program, is a financial assistance program. And so what you have before you tonight is a request for an additional appropriation of $5,000, which will bring the total program dollar amount to $10,000 per fiscal year. And what this is geared toward, is for pre-qualified property owners who meet the HUD guidelines for income levels. We will reimburse them up to 50% of the cost of fixing the sidewalk. And so that's after they've had a licensed contractor, come do the work. Staff will follow the same process that they do with, making sure the work is done to city standard. And then once we have all of that in order, we will be able to reimburse them, up to 50% of the cost. And so that's what you have before you. And the reason that we had to bring this before you again is because our original source of funding for this program used to be in our housing department through the CDBG program. Unfortunately, with the federal budget the way that it is, this is no longer an opportunity for us. That funding is not available. And so we are coming back to you with a different strategy to create some type of tool for those people who qualify for this type of assistance. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Allison, I understand part of it also was once they have the approved contractor and they pay the invoice, correct?
That's
Then
correct.
they apply for the reimbursement.
We would actually have them apply up front, so we would pre-qualify them essentially. And they would provide estimates, things of that nature. We would verify that the encroachment permit is pulled. And so they would already be in the system, so that basically all we would be waiting for is final notification that the work has been completed, and then we would reimburse them up to 50%.
Councilmember Bluff?
I'm not sure if it's possible, but would this eliminate then assessment district people? Would not be applicable to them, or is it anywhere in the city? Because I think assessment district would pay for itself.
Unfortunately, sidewalk maintenance is not a component of the assessment district maintenance. So while you have landscape maintenance, you have lighting, things of that, sidewalks are not covered. So this would apply to anyone, any property owner in Turlock that qualifies under the income guidelines.
Councilmember Hart?
And then I just have to make sure with this question, gas tax reserves?
Yes, that's correct. So,
Which gas tax?
So this is coming out of Fund 217, which is the same source of funding for your fee backfill program that you have currently in place, which is the $20,000 that backfills their permit fee. The relationship between the gas tax funding and the sidewalks is the fact that our sidewalk system is considered to be a component of our streets and highways system, and therefore it is essentially the code that manages our sidewalks and the requirements for maintenance and whose responsibilities there are is done through the streets and highways code, which is a relation to that's the relationship to the gas tax.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there any member of the public that would like to address this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for 5M.
Second?
Okay, advanced by Councilmember Esquer, seconded by Councilmember DeHart. Clerk, please call the roll.
Appropriating $5,000 to account number 217-50510-43200, repair program sidewalk, from Fund 217 gas tax unallocated reserves for the sidewalk repair financial assistance program, increasing the annual program total to $10,000. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember DeHart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. We'll move on to final readings, 6A. I'll introduce the final reading to adopt ordinance amendment 2016-03, sign ordinance. And I'll ask the clerk to read the ordinance title and call the roll.
Adopting ordinance amendment 2016-03, sign ordinance, including amendments to Turlock Municipal Code, Title 9, Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 04, Subsection G, to remove sign standards for service stations, adding Title 9, Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 28, regarding attention-getting devices, amending the chapter index for Title 9, Chapter 2, amending Title 9, Chapter 2, Article 04 to renumber it as Article 3, adding Title 9, Chapter 2, Article 4 regarding sign regulations for public property, repealing Title 9, Chapter 2, Article 5, signs, adding Title 9, Chapter 2, Article 5 regarding sign regulations for private property, as introduced at the November 14th, 2017 City Council meeting. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember DeHart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
Moving on to item B, introduce the final reading to adopt an ordinance amendment for Community Facilities District Number 2. Clerk, please read the ordinance title and call the roll.
Adding Turlock Municipal Code Title 3, Chapter 9, Article 8, setting forth regulations for mitigating the costs of providing public services to new residential development through annexation to Community Facilities District Number 2 or an alternative method, as introduced at the November 14th, 2017 City Council meeting. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember DeHart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to item 7A, introduce the public hearing to adopt General Plan Amendment 2017-02 for the West Side Industrial Specific Plan and the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan, and to consider an ordinance adopting rezone 2017-02 and amending the zoning map. Debbie?
evening again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. The general plan amendment and rezone before you tonight affects two of our specific plans, the West Side Industrial Specific Plan that covers the Turlock Regional Industrial Park, and the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan that covers the area that we know as Monte Vista Crossings. The project that's before you tonight includes amendments to the land use diagrams for both the West Side Industrial Specific Plan and the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan. There are a few technical changes that we are making in the zoning for some of these properties that were not made in previous items that were brought to you. But probably the most important amendments that we're bringing to you in the West Side Industrial Specific Plan is to change the land uses so that they are more amenable to industrial development on the west side of Highway 99. And for the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan to respond to the market demand that we're actually seeing out there in the community. So I'll go through that in more detail as we go through the presentation, but there are some fairly important objectives of the city that we're trying to achieve through those changes. We have before you a full document of the West Side Industrial Specific Plan with the proposed amendments. These include modifications to Table 3-2, which is the permitted land use available for each of the various zoning categories, and we have added policies to protect existing residential uses in the area from traffic noise and visual impacts, and this was done at the request of the neighborhood in that area. We are also proposing to rezone properties so they're consistent with these changes in the land use diagrams. The illustrations that I'm going to provide you tonight really combine the areas that are covered by both the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan and the West Side Industrial Specific Plan. So I'll just kind of go through those in terms of the areas that are being affected. This diagram focuses in on the Folkerth Highway 99 interchange. The properties that are located on the east side of the freeway are in the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan. Also that sort of large triangular shaped property north of Folkerth that is in yellow is in the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan. All of the other properties are within the West Side Industrial Specific Plan. So just to kind of walk through these changes, the three properties that are shown on the southeast quadrant of the interchange are in the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan. They were supposed to have been zoned to community commercial. The land use diagram of the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan reflects this, so you're primarily looking at kind of a technical change to align the zoning with the general plan designation. You have four properties on the west side of the freeway that kind of form this curve around the Folkerth interchange. Those are properties that have since been acquired by the city to widen the Folkerth interchange. So you have properties that are basically going from some type of commercial designation over to public to represent the fact that the city is going to own these and develop these as the future interchange. The properties there on Polis Drive, those properties should have been designated, again, this is a technical change, to community commercial, so we are making that change as part of this proposed amendment. But the bigger changes are really in the area that is shown in green and in blue. The West Side Industrial Specific Plan originally designated these properties for commercial office development. Commercial office zoning allows for the development of residential uses that were deemed really to be incompatible with the development of the industrial park. So the city developed a number of proposals. We went through some workshops with the community to identify, some potential options for rezoning these properties so that they really match the industrial focus of the West Side Industrial Specific Plan. Ultimately, we resulted in a designation of heavy commercial for the properties that are shown in green, and for industrial business park for those properties shown in blue. The properties shown in blue have an industrial business park designation, which kind of continues the designation to the south and to the west. There is kind of a nice dividing line of the canal. As you go on the north side of the canal, that is kind of designated now for heavy commercial zoning, which would allow for the development of a retail center as well as light industrial uses within that area. This next document kind of goes to our Taylor Highway 99 interchange. This is an area just to the east of the freeway. that is currently zoned for commercial thoroughfare. But what we've been seeing is a lot of market demand for doing light industrial uses, similar uses that are already located within that area. So our thought was that we should move it to a heavy commercial designation so that those types of uses could be developed on those vacant properties. The proposed land use diagrams would then be modified to look like this. The orange area is the area where the changes are going to be made. And then for the Northwest Triangle specific plan, you have both the properties at the north side of the specific plan area on Taylor Road and those at the Folkerth interchange. Just to kind of go through the public input process, because we had a very active public engagement process here, and I really appreciated that, because oftentimes when we're doing general plan amendments, people don't really understand what that's all about and how it can affect them. But we had a very active public in this process. We mailed some initial letters to the property owners just to get a sense of what their support might. West Side Industrial Specific Plan area actually gave us their own ideas on how they wanted the zoning, the heavy commercial designation, to be changed so that it would be more compatible with their residential uses. Many of those owners don't plan on, selling their properties anytime soon, but at the same time, they wanted to have the potential that at some point in the future they could sell their properties. And we had several other property owners that really were having a hard time marketing their properties as commercial office uses. The plan was then circulated for public review and input, and that has a 30-day public review period prior to the Planning Commission. Just to go over very quickly some of the changes that we made in the permitted land uses by the various zoning categories, and again, focusing on that heavy commercial zoning district, is in this area, those uses that are identified in red are the uses that were added and proposed changes in the land use permitting processes for those uses. A lot of the uses that are kind of more heavy types of industrial uses were designated now as not permitted, which would have been permitted under a typical heavy commercial zoning district. But the idea was that, those are things that are probably going to be very incompatible with the existing residential uses in the area. Also, if you look at it from the city's perspective, this is an area that has a great deal of high visibility from the freeway. So having things like recycling facilities, large salvage and wrecking operations, truck yards, that close to the freeway doesn't give you as much opportunity to have a nice, sort of high quality, high visibility type of center in the area. Also, those kinds of uses can locate in the industrial and in the industrial business park zoning district. So there's plenty of land available for those types of uses within the Turlock Regional Industrial Park. So it's really not necessary that they be within this heavy commercial zoning area. And this just continues the table on, again, showing the additional uses that were entered into the table. So these tables basically allow for a deviation from the existing underlying zoning for the city. We also incorporated policies to discourage development of high-activity commercial and industrial centers near the existing residences. So those changes that are shown in the white highlighting were made to really try to redirect those high activities to other areas and try to avoid impacting the existing residential uses. What we have prepared for you in terms of compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act are two addendums, one to the West Side Industrial Specific Plan Environmental Impact Report, and the other to the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan Mitigated Negative Declaration. For the West Side Industrial Specific Plan, there was a slight increase in traffic that would result from the proposed changes, and this is based on sort of average traffic generation for the kinds of uses that would be in the heavy commercial zoning district. The city engineer had reviewed those increases in traffic and determined that they were less than significant, and so we prepared the addendum to the specific plan EIR. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended that the City Council approve the proposed amendments in the rezone, and so the recommended action before you tonight is to certify the addendum to the West Side Industrial Specific Plan Final EIR, certify the addendum to the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan Mitigated Negative Declaration, adopt General Plan Amendment 2017-02, and introduce the ordinance for rezone 2017-02. So with that, are there any questions?
Could you go back about 5 slides?
Up. Too many.
Oh,
Too many.
this one?
Nope.
This one?
Next, there, that one.
Yes.
I just didn't get a chance to read that right-hand paragraph. That went over Tyler too fast. And I just want to make sure I saw that.
Yeah,
So
basically,
basically, we're talking about volume of traffic.
right,
Okay.
exactly. And also, what the neighbors wanted is to have more screening for
Yeah.
uses that were immediately adjacent to residential, existing residences, which makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
You don't necessarily want to see that. And also that when we look at the site planning for those types of uses that might generate a great deal of traffic, is to find ways to direct that traffic away from the residences. So that is something that we'll deal with when we get specific projects and look at how we design the sites. The neighbors will be notified of any projects that are coming in, so when those projects are actually being either processed at the staff level or by the planning commission, they'll have an opportunity to come in and present any concerns that they have.
Thanks.
Yeah, Debbie, I just wanted, so the traffic, like going heavy industrial, it's not, we're not talking about widening the road or anything.
What was determined is that there's a slight increase in traffic, but that wouldn't require any more improvements than what we already have within the West Side Industrial Specific Plan area. So it didn't mean that we had to go from 2 lanes to 4 lanes in order to accommodate the traffic. So what was already planned as part of the specific plan would be adequate.
Any other questions from council? Okay, I'll open up the public hearing and ask if the public has any questions regarding this item. All right, seeing none, close the public hearing. We'll need to take each action separately. So what is the pleasure of the council for the first resolution? All right.
Certifying the addendum to the final environmental impact report for the West Side Industrial Specific Plan. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember Dehart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'm having some technical difficulties with my microphone. Okay, so the motion passes.
Second?
Okay, so introduced by Councilmember Bublak, seconded by Councilmember DeHart. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certifying the addendum to the mitigated negative declaration for the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember Dehart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
And the pleasure of the council for the third resolution,
Advance the resolution?
Second.
advanced by Councilmember DeHart, seconded by Councilmember Esquer. Clerk, please call the roll.
Adopting General Plan Amendment 2017-02, West Side Industrial Specific Plan, and the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan. Mayor, are you there?
Yes. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna start that over. Adopting General Plan Amendment 2017-02, West Side Industrial Specific Plan and the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan, amending the West Side Industrial Specific Plan, the land use diagram of the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan, and amending the land use diagram of the general plan for 32 properties located within the boundaries of the specific plans. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember Dehart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
And what is the pleasure of the council for the motion introducing the ordinance?
Move to introduce the ordinance?
Second.
Advanced by Councilmember DeHart, seconded by Councilmember Esquer. Clerk, please call the roll.
Introducing an ordinance adopting rezone 2017-02 West Side Industrial Specific Plan and the Northwest Triangle Specific Plan, rezoning 32 properties located within the boundaries of the specific plans, and amending the zoning map of the city of Turlock, and setting the final reading for December 12th, 2017. Councilmember Esquer,
Yes.
Councilmember Dehart,
Yes.
Councilmember Bublak,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jacob,
Yes.
Mayor Soisek.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to scheduled matters, we have none. And staff updates, items 9, 1, 2, 3, and 5 do not have updates. We will take items 4A public safety briefing, that is in the agenda packet, if there are any questions or comments from the council on that. Nope, seeing none. Item 6A as well is included in the agenda packet for Parks, Recreation, and Public Facilities regarding the Turlock Armory. Are there any questions or comments from the council? Councilmember Scare?
Hi, Allison. I see we've had a few more delays going on with this project. And from what I read, so we don't really have any idea of when they're actually gonna be out of there and when we're going to be able to start doing anything, if we're gonna do anything.
Unfortunately, we don't. We don't have a timeline. What I had an update as recent as today, but it was the same timeline. They anticipate that they'll have their future facility prepared by February of 2018, but that doesn't mean that they'll be out of the local National Guard location. And so we are sort of at their mercy, if you will, at this point. And but I think it's still, you know, I keep in contact with them, and they have, you know, kept me informed as things have moved. But unfortunately, many of their processes are, you know, are slow. They're you know, affiliated with a government agency, and so they have to go through certain steps. And so that's the best I have at this point. However, if there are any changes, I will make sure that you're the first body to know. But right now, we are still in a holding pattern.
Yay.
Did I hear you correctly? Government works slow? Is that?
You know, I've heard that maybe a time or two.
Okay. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on this item? Okay, seeing none. The public safety briefing is also included in the agenda packet. Are there any questions on that item from the council or the public? Was there any questions from the public? Yes, Mr. Bates. If you can, please step up to the podium so our many viewers at home can hear.
Again, this is just curiosity. There was an incident just a couple days ago over by Bristol Park that was nothing short of startling. And I was just wondering, again, if there was any additional information. It's gotten a lot of press because of the nature of it. And I was just wondering if there was any information that can be disclosed publicly as to what might be happening with that.
Captain Williams, if you want to take this on.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Mayor, council members, and Mayor Soriseth by telephone. Thank you very much for the question. It is an active investigation, so I can't discuss any of the particulars about it. I can tell you that it is a very disturbing incident to all of us. We are actively investigating. We are following up on every possible lead, contacting anybody possible. There is a reward through Crime Stoppers for anybody that has information. So if anybody is aware of anything, we have multiple detectives assigned to this case. We encourage you to contact Crime Stoppers and provide us with that information so we can continue working on it.
Thank you. Okay, and Captain Williams, if you want to stay up for the holiday safety and shopping tips.
Yes, thank you very much. So while Jen is queuing up the video, I just want to, I know we're getting towards the end of the council meeting, so I'll make this quick, but we think this is very important to let both you, the council, and the public know of some of our efforts regarding holiday safety and just general shopping tips as you frequent through the shopping centers in our community. So we have overtime available to our officers. We don't have enough officers to dedicate on-duty personnel because they're patrolling the streets, so we've made overtime available for our officers to come in on their off-duty time, get in a patrol car and drive around. We think just the presence of patrol officers can make people a little more comfortable, so we're focusing some effort on that. We've engaged our volunteer program, another great opportunity to get involved in the police department. We have multiple volunteers that will come in and just patrol the area. They're kind of the eyes and the ears for the police department. And then we're partnering with a lot of businesses just to make sure that they know how to report crimes, how to report suspicious activities. So those are some of the proactive things we're doing just in the presence of the police department. But in addition to that, we are engaging in kind of an educational campaign through social media. And we have one of many videos that we're going to show you. This one's just under 3 minutes So this is a video that we will post on various social media sites and through the talents of our own staff, develop all these videos. They record it themselves, they produce it themselves, and then they'll post it. So this is an example of one.
Hi, I'm Officer Rodriguez with the Turlock Police Department.
And I'm Deandra Wiley, crime analyst with the Turlock Police Department.
Today we're at Target, located at Monte Vista Crossings, to share with you some holiday safety shopping tips.
So let's go inside.
So we're currently inside of Target, and we want to share with you some important tips regarding the use and the carry of a purse. So just like how Deandra here is wearing hers, she's physically carrying it, that's the best way to do that. But if you can't, then the next best step would be for you to place it on the child seat of the cart, and then to use the buckle for the child seat. Buckle it in, that way if somebody tries to come by and take your purse, then you actually be hung up by it.
And another good tip would be to not keep your phone inside your purse. Keep it with you in your pocket somewhere so that if someone does come by and take your purse from the cart, you still have your phone to call for help.
So it's important to remember that during the holiday season, the stores are filled with people because of the holidays. With that being said, it's important that you not lose sight of your cart and your purse, because somebody can easily walk by, reach into your purse, and grab your wallet and take off without you even knowing.
Close your purse to secure your valuables. Another helpful tip to remember is that if you're shopping with your children, make sure they stay seated in your cart at all times. But if they're too big to fit in the top seat, tell them to stay with you. It's really important they don't get lost.
And one thing to remember, even prior to going to the store, is to discuss with your family a safe meeting spot. Just in case if either person in your family does become lost, then the other part of the family knows where to find them.
Make sure you have your keys ready when heading out to your car.
So once you're done with your holiday shopping inside of the store, it's important that you maintain your safety outside of the store. So when you get to your car, make sure that you unlock your trunk and have your keys in hand. And when you're unloading all of your groceries, make sure that you never have your back to the cart. So as a reminder, we want you to enjoy your shopping experience here in the city of Turlock, but while doing so, we want you to pay attention to your surroundings.
And remember, if you see something, say something. Call 911 for an emergency, and for non-emergencies, 209-668-1200.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Again, we want to kind of hit it from both angles, a proactive presence from the police department and our volunteers, as well as an educational campaign. I believe Chief Amafar will be up here at your next council meeting to give you a few more holiday safety tips. Any questions?
Thanks. Any questions from the council?
Did we charge Target for the PSA?
That's a great idea.
Any questions from the public on this item? All right, thank you, Captain Williams. Appreciate your work on that. So we're moving on to non-agenda items. There are no items or matters too late for the agenda. We'll move on to council items for future consideration. Councilmember Bublak?
I would like, for the next December meeting, the only agenda we have, I'd like an itemization of our legal fees. And I want it to be specific, like a running tab of whether it was council support or if it was personnel matters. And I'm not certain that it can be done in public. I hope it can be. If not, I think we should still know how much money we've spent since January 1st of this year for legal costs. And then on another concept, as the gentleman was talking about lighting, not necessarily to Lander area, but as we grow and start new areas, I think it's more important to put, like, for every tree that we put out there, take one away and put more lighting. Even in assessment districts, they're really dark. And it just doesn't make sense to me why we're wanting so many trees and then we're turning around and having to put more money back into the trees being uprooted and ruining the sidewalks, et cetera, when somebody's gonna fall if it's dark. They can see it if it was lit up. So I think we need to start planning a distance, make our own code that if we can, if California doesn't have their own rule, and and we don't care about the rule anyway. Let's do what we need to do to be the safest and most lit areas around the whole city as we progress for the new areas.
Okay. City manager and city attorney, if you can, please follow up. Any other council items for future consideration? All right, seeing none. Council comments, are there any council comments? Yes, Councilmember DeHart.
My turn.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the beginning of the League Leadership Conference down over in Santa Cruz, and I'm going to be attending that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is the group that will be monitoring all legislative action moving forward or progressing through the legislature up in Sacramento during this coming year. To have a part or a hand in what is supported, spoken out against, whatever, is really quite a process, and I'm looking forward to being at the front end of formulating what ideas, what policies, what new legislation will be supported this upcoming year. So I'll have more when I get back, but I always look forward to this particular conference. And this is the first, actually, as chair of the Community Services Policy Committee, another part of that action, which I'm really eager to get involved in. So in any case, just wanted to bring you up to date on that.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership in the league as well. Any other council comments? Yes, Councilmember Scare.
Yes, there was a lengthy article in the Bee regarding the cannabis and all the ordinances and the permits the county's allowing. And as I was looking at the map, I see 3 of them that are going to be in the outskirts of Turlock. But I saw they're going to be supposed to be within 500 feet of our sphere of influence. Did I miss a meeting? Because I was trying to figure out where did we come up with the 500 feet? Personally, I would have preferred 1,000 feet. But so is there any way, anybody we can talk to and find out if that is set in stone? Can we work on that?
City manager, I think if you want to get together with the council member Scaron. Okay. Any other comments? There is the parade downtown this coming Friday at 6 o'clock. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be there this year. I'm pretty bummed about it. I'm going to be out of town, but it's always a great time and encourage our community to make it out to that if you can. And we do not have any closed session items, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay, moved by Councilmember DeHart, second by Councilmember Scare. The meeting is adjourned.